Well, hello. Welcome to a new video. Welcome to a new video topic, a topic that I love and I've wanted to talk about for a while. We'll get into all of that in just a second, but I did just want to say before I get started that they are doing some work on my balcony outside of my condo, and so it's been really loud. They've been doing it for a few days now. I'm very grateful they're doing it, but it's really loud and it's off and on loud. Like they'll be hammering and really loud 1 second and then it'll be quiet. So it's really hard to gauge when is a good time to film. So I'm really hoping that it'll be quiet for a little while right now, but if you hear anything in the background, that's what that is, and I'm really sorry about it. I know it's like super annoying, so I really hope it's not a big issue and that you can't hear it, but if you hear any like noises in the background, that's what that is. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about Mandela effects, and I hope to do a lot of these videos. There's literally just so many Mandela effects. I know also this is a very old topic. People have been talking about this phenomenon, this conspiracy for a long time now, and I've been interested in it for a long time. And I know there's tons of different Mandela effects and different things. They've probably, a lot of them have been talked about at length, and of course some of the ones I'm going to be talking about here have been talked about by lots of other people, but Mandela effects have been something that have really interested me for years now. And you guys know on this channel I love doing like spooky, paranormal, conspiracy type stuff and just all different types of content. So I thought, why not? Like, it's something I like and I want to see if you guys like it too, of course, but it's something I'm interested in and something I love talking about. I love the side of the world of paranormal, creepy, conspiracy, anything. So I thought, why not just do a Mandela effect video? I can do so many of these. I have so many Mandela effects that freak me out, that I question, that I remember being a different way than the way that they are. And so yeah, I thought I would just sit down and talk about it because it interests me, and I'm sure it interests a lot of you guys, even though it's an older topic. And you know, some things have been debunked even, but it's still fun and it's still very interesting and kind of creepy to think about. So I'm just going to share with you a few today. But if you don't know what the Mandela effect is, I'm going to explain that now. So the Mandela effect is basically a phenomenon where a large mass, a large group of people remember something happening a certain way that actually happened an entirely different way, or didn't happen at all, or remember something looking or being spelled a certain way and it's actually spelled an entirely different way. Somebody saying something that was actually not ever said, but it's a large amount of people that all remember it the same way, when in reality it never, the event or the thing never happened that way in the first place. So a lot of people accredit the Mandela effect to us possibly, you know, jumping universes, jumping into a parallel universe, then jumping back, or slightly shifting universes to where certain little tiny details will change in our universe from what it once was. And that's why certain people remember it one way, but it's a different way now. So there's all kinds of theories behind what the Mandela effect is and why such a large amount of people will remember things this way. Many people, of course, just say that it's people being forgetful or their memories playing tricks on them, their mind playing tricks on them. But the real reason and question behind this is that it is such a large group of people that will remember it the exact same way, that how can everybody's memories be playing those kinds of tricks on them? How could everybody's memory about that be false? So that is why a lot of people question this phenomenon and say that there's something much more mysterious to it. Some people even say it's due to time travel. The reason this is called the Mandela effect is because one of the first occurrences of this happening, where everyone remembered something a certain way, had to do with Nelson Mandela. Many people remember Nelson Mandela actually dying in prison back in the 1980s in South Africa. But in reality, Nelson Mandela actually died in 2013. This confused a lot of people and like started like a huge uproar on the internet actually, because so many people specifically remember him passing away back in the 1980s. They remembered news coverage on this event. They remember Nelson Mandela's wife speaking about his death. Very specific instances of his death have been reported by so many different people, and people were shocked when they found out that he actually died in 2013. And you know, my question to that is, obviously I wasn't alive back in 1980, but my question to that would obviously be, why does everyone remember this thing happening in such a specific way when it never happened at all? I mean, it's just so mysterious, and there's so many other, you know, things like this throughout history or even in modern day that people, you know, remember being one way and it never happened that way. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, but it is definitely something that puzzles me a lot, especially some of these. Now, some Mandela effects, you know, I don't even agree with or remember that way, but there are so many that I'm like, wow, I remember it that way, and it claims it never was that way. So definitely when you're affected by it, I think it impacts you more and makes you a little more curious as to what could actually be going on here, you know? Some other common Mandela effects that you may have heard of if you've never heard of the Mandela effect are the Berenstein versus Berenstein bears Mandela effect. I will go to my grave on this one because I know that it was Berenstein, like S-T-E-I-N, Berenstein, or however you say it. I vividly remember it being that way. I remember being in the hospital as a child. I had something happen to me. I have a whole video on it about my doctor's mistake that landed me in the hospital for a long time. He could have killed me anyway. I was in the hospital for a long time, and they had like a little movie library there, and one of the main things they always had was like these Berenstein Bears little DVDs of like the show that was on, the old cartoon that they had for it. They had Berenstein Bears books, and I just remember also just loving the Berenstein Bears throughout my whole childhood, and I vividly remember it being spelled with the S-T-E-I-N instead of the S-T-A-I-N, how it's supposedly spelled now. So that is one that really like was one of the first major Mandela effects to come out as well, back when this first gained popularity, this phenomenon. And I was shook by this one because I still to this day and will always say that it was Berenstein Bears. And there's been people that have, you know, come out with proof on how books they've had said Berenstein instead of Berenstain. So there's all kinds of talk about this one. This was another really popular one. Some other popular ones you may have heard was the Oscar Mayer one, the spelling different there. I'll put some pictures on the screen so you know what I'm talking about. I remember it as Oscar Mayer with an E. Tell me what you remember. Another one that a lot of people remember being spelled differently is Chick-Fil-A. A lot of people remember it being spelled without the K on the end of chick and it just being C-H-I-C. So I also remember it this way as well, like when Chick-Fil-A was first popular and I feel like we were having it a lot. Like I always remember it being without the K, and the reason I remember it this way is because I always remember questioning how to spell it. Like if I was going to spell it for some reason, I always remember questioning it, like, does it have a K or does it not, or how do I spell it? Because I knew that the spelling was different than the actual way you spell chick. I remember this from being a child and like thinking that. So that one really blows my mind. But yeah, so those are some really common examples of Mandela effects. And now we're gonna talk about a few other ones that I've seen recently that I want your guys' input on and to see what you remember, because I remember all of these the way that they were not. So we're gonna get on into that now. Okay, the first major one that I saw and was like, I have to talk about this. It has to do with the board game Monopoly. Now, I grew up playing Monopoly. I loved this game. It caused many family feuds like this game does, the game that never ends. I don't even know if I've ever finished a full game of Monopoly. Can you even finish it? I have no idea. But we played this a lot, and we had like several different versions of Monopoly as well. And anyway, the Mandela effect here is that if you remember the Monopoly man having a monocle, you remember it wrong. Apparently, he doesn't have a monocle. He's never had a monocle. And that really just, you know, hurts my soul. It really doesn't sit right with my true being, because if there is one thing I remember about that man, it is that he had a monocle. And many people say that people are misremembering this one because the peanut guy on like the Peanuts brand peanut, I don't know, he's got a monocle, whatever. No, girl, I don't even like peanuts like that. I do not like peanut butter. Never have my whole life. And I remember the Monopoly man having a monocle 150%. I never remember it any other way. Even when I look at it now, I'm like, his face looks wrong. So tell me what you think of that. That's very interesting to me, and I've seen a lot of people on this one that truly remember the monocle. So let me know what you think about that. The next Mandela effect has to do with the brand Fruit of the Loom. Okay, this one shook me. This is up there with the monocle thing for me. So picture the Fruit of the Loom logo in your head right now. Do it, picture it, picture it, picture it. If you're picturing a cornucopia behind the fruit, you are picturing it wrong. And again, I'll put pictures on the screen. I'll try to find pictures of all of these, but just make sure you look at the screen because I'll show you apparently what we're all misremembering, because the Fruit of the Loom logo is just that. It's just fruit. It never had a cornucopia, not for a Thanksgiving special, not for a promotion they were doing, nothing. It never had a cornucopia. I refuse to believe this. I remember it having a cornucopia 100%. Fruit of the Loom, sold at Walmart. We always had stuff by their brand. We always had like t-shirts, undershirts, underwear, pants, everything, hoodies, sweatshirts by this brand. And I vividly remember, I remember the ads on TV of the people who were dressed up like the fruits. And when the logo popped up at the end for the commercials, it had the cornucopia. Girl, this one is blowing my mind. There's no way. There's no way. We had to have jumped universes. There's just no way. Like, it had the cornucopia. So, what do you remember? This one is interesting to me because when I think about it, it is logically like, no, that never happened. But then when I actually think about my childhood, I remember it being this way. So when I tell you the color chartreuse, what do you think of? If you're thinking of a magenta-ish, pinkish color, you're way off, okay? You're way off. Chartreuse is actually this greenish color. It's like a green color. I don't know, it's not pink at all. Now, I don't know why when I think of chartreuse, I think of Blue's Clues. I know they had the dog on there named Magenta, so maybe I'm making that like cross reference, but I don't know why that reminds me of that, but I do when I think chartreuse. Now that I've heard this Mandela effect, obviously I think of orange, or I think of green, but I remember being young and hearing chartreuse and always thinking it was pink. Up until recently, really up until I probably heard this Mandela effect, which has been a few years now. But I do remember from childhood thinking that, I feel like I even remember a crayon being chartreuse and it was a pink color, like a Crayola crayon, and the label said chartreuse and I remember it being pink. But you know, there's a couple colors like that they're named one thing and make you think of a thing like that, but it's actually another thing. So this one I do question because I do feel like I could just be confused on this one. Like I said, because I'm also thinking of Blue's Clues for some reason, and just a little bit like, did I think of it? Like, I'm not 100% sure on this one, but it does, when I think about it, sound like chartreuse would be pink, right? So I do understand why I'm getting confused and why other people would also think that this color has been pink. So let me know if you were taught that it was pink instead of green, or just what you remember, because this one does kind of, like I said, it confuses me and makes me like think very deeply. So let me know what you think about that one. Okay, the next Mandela effect, if you're a big like Pokemon fan, this one might really trigger you. I was never a big Pokemon fan, but I always knew who Pikachu was, and I always thought he was really cute. And I do remember him like throughout childhood and even up till now. But when you picture Pikachu, what does his tail look like to you? Take a minute, think about it, picture him. If you said that his tail had like a black line, like a black tip squiggly thing on it, you are wrong. His tail has always been just yellow, always. When I say these Mandela effects, it's not like the company rebranded or somebody changed something. It is something that has supposedly always been this way, and you can't find any proof of the other way that it was. And that's what I mean by this. It's not like these companies just changed logos, or this person just came back to life and faked their death every time. So when I say this Pikachu thing, it's not like they totally just colored his tail in yellow one day. Apparently he's never had that black mark on the end of his tail. And I do always remember him being, you know, black and yellow and having that little black mark on his tail. So like on the very end of it. So let me know if you remember, and if you're a big diehard Pokemon fan, you might remember better than me, but I do remember the black stripe thing always being on his tail. So let me know what you remember there, because that one is so weird. Now this one, I definitely remember hearing about like around Thanksgiving time and a few months ago, and I saw a lot of people talking about this one, but this one did truly blow my mind, so I had to mention it here, and it is the Stouffer's Stovetop Stuffing Mandela Effect. Okay, so apparently Stouffer's literally has never made that stuffing, that classic box of stuffing that everybody gets for Thanksgiving. It's in the red box. My mom used to always have it, my grandparents, like everybody I remember like always having this stuffing, making this stuffing, buying this stuffing myself. Apparently it's always been Kraft brand. It's never been Stouffer's, dude. It's never been Stouffer's Stovetop Stuffing. Stouffer's makes other meals, like they make frozen meals, lasagnas, things like that. other foods, but they've never made this stuffing. It's always been Kraft, like this specific look box of the stuffing. I know you know what I'm talking about. I'll have a picture on the screen, obviously, but it has never been Stouffer's. It's always been Kraft. Oh my God, you cannot tell me that is true. I know it was Stouffer's. I know 100%. I remember it. That's what it was. It was never Stouffer's. I remember Stouffer's. I remember going to the store and it said Stouffer's stuffing, Stouffer's Stovetop stuffing. And it was right there. And now there's like a blue Kraft logo. I don't even remember the Kraft logo. I don't remember any blue on that box at all, like Kraft is. I remember being Stouffer's, like the black with the like whiter goldish letters, and it just all looked good. Like I remember, girl. So tell me what you remember there, because that one is just what the hell. So I think that's going to finish off this Mandela Effect video for today. But if you enjoyed this video, do not worry. I will definitely make more. Like I said, I have so many Mandela effects that are just like these, that blow my mind, that confuse me, that I've saved just like throughout the years, or I just remember. And so yeah, I can definitely do more of these videos and talk about this more. Let me know if that's something you want to see. Let me know if you like this type of topic of me discussing Mandela effects. Let me know what you think of these Mandela effects and what you remember. If you don't remember any of them, if you remember all of them, if you're somewhere in between, if you believe in this, if you don't, just let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Please let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!